Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey, happy Monday! Y'all miss me over the weekend? Y'all miss me over the weekend? Because I missed y'all. Okay. So, I was going to do a completely different show today, but I decided that we would do a continuation of the conversation from this morning. Y'all can probably tell that I left off. I just let it be. But I think we need to talk about this more. I think we need to understand what's happening around us. If you didn't watch my video from earlier today, I suggest that you do so. Go ahead and watch it so that you can get sort of the background of what I'm talking about. Because on a recent Lapeef panel, Mr. Let Go was one of the guests there, and one of the things that he was saying was he did not think that women were a threat, that women were not a threat, and that women could only be threats if they are backed by men. Other than that, women are not threatening at all. Y'all are liking the clips? Y'all are liking the clips with Anton and my interview? I'm glad that y'all like that. Women aren't a threat. I don't know where brothers like Mr. Let Go and other brothers like him that say this, because he's not the first person to allude to this. He's really not. Thank you, Marcus, that the simps and the panderers are threat. They are. They are. That's not the first time I've heard stuff like that. And I gotta say that it's got me tongue-tied is what it's got. Thank you, Dee. So that person obviously didn't study lynching in America. We can't save everyone. Love the YouTube shorts. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You and Marcus kicking it off for me. Thank you so much. This is why I don't like simps. I don't like simp thoughts. I don't like simp-ish mindsets. And I'm not necessarily calling Mr. Let Go a simp. I don't have any problem. There's no beef between me and him at all. But I do have to always keep things very honest. I have to keep things true. I don't like it. And see, let's straighten something out. Thank you, Donovan. Said my father once told me this. He said, "Son, a woman is either your greatest peace or your ultimate destruction, but she will never be both." Thank you. Thank you, Donovan. Thank you. Let's clarify what's a simp, because I think that needs to be clarified. You know what? That's also going to be Patreon content. Got my trusty pen here. Let's see. What is a simp? Anyway, y'all know I be having little brainstorms, and I got to get it while I get this good. Okay. Thank you, Kashinsky. Said Mr. Let Go is a closet simp. I mean, what world did he come from? Women are harmless. Yeah, I don't understand. Thank you again, Marcus. Said they are the pillars of feminism, sister code, and sisterhood. Thank you. Thank you so much for y'all contributions. I really appreciate them. First, let's straighten out what's a simp. See, a simp is not a man that is nice to his woman. If you have a woman, you have a wife, you have a girlfriend, whatever, and you're nice to her, you show kindness to her, that's not simping. That's not simping. That's not simping. I'm going to tell you what simping really is. Simping really is when a man does not have any standard for a woman. That's simping. He'll deal with her anyway in full capacity without creating any standard and without setting any order to her. There's just nothing that she has to do in order to be with him. That is a simp. Do we understand that? Simps don't have any standard. Simps don't have there's nothing. She can come into his world. She can come into his life. She doesn't have to be anything. She doesn't have to do anything. She doesn't have to show anything. She doesn't have to nothing. She doesn't have to do anything but come there, and everything that she does will be excused under the guise of, well, she's a woman. So therefore, I expect her to not be able to be a functioning adult because she's a woman. Thank you, Frederick. Said maintaining what you acquire isn't simping. No, not at all. I don't know where he been. But we're going to break it down. We're going to break down the threat that women pose, specifically the threat that black women have posed to black men and to the black community for many decades now. There's been an extreme threat. An extreme threat. Thank you again, Marcus, that we need to see you on this week of people, Mr. Let Go, to have that conversation. Thank you, Just Two. And you're welcome. I'm a little bit lost for words because it's a lot. Even though I wrote it out, it's a lot. Black women have been a threat for a very long time. Black men, some black men, not seeing black women as a threat is actually what made the plan that Zaddy had, that made that plan golden. It was just a foolproof plan to make black women one of the biggest threats that he would face. All the while, not perceiving her as a threat in the first place. That's what made it ingenious. It was a genius plan. Make black women a threat. Because of where we come from, because of what we've been through as a group of people in this country, because of the history of it all, black men are not going to see black women as the ops. Why not? Because they've both been enslaved. They have both been not only enslaved, but they have been treated as subpar, subhuman. They have been mistreated. They have been just devastated. You know, we'll beat her just as well as we beat him. All sorts of things. He'll never suspect that she would ever come to us and do our bidding against him, given our history together. Because he would never conceive in his mind that the woman that we've been subjugating right next to him would sell him out to us. He would never think it. Because it don't make no logical sense for her to do that. He would never see it coming. Black men will never see it coming. They never see it coming. Thank you, Marcus, that both Anton, Ali, and Bruiser has called him out on his BS for a month. Thank you so much. And I've been kind of peeping at a little bit. Thank you, G Money, said that biggest threat is their raising of husband sons. Those are the hardest adult males to do anything positive with. They're also the most vicious lap attack dogs. They are. And see, all of them things that we talk about is a symptom of the issue. The reason that making black women a weapon was so ingenious, it was so insidious, and the reason it worked so well and continues to work so well is because Zaddy knew that black men as a whole will not see black women coming. And the reason he won't see her coming as the ops is because it don't make no sense for her to be the ops. It don't make no sense. Why would she ever trust Zaddy? Why would she ever trust me? She has no reason to trust me. But I'll make her trust me. That's the beauty of it all. That's the beauty of it. I'm going to make her trust me. Because, see, I know what he wants and I know what she wants. And she wants something different than what he wants. He think she want the same thing he want and she don't. She don't. We realized that on the plantation. See, she don't mind the captivity as long as the captivity's comfortable. She'll nest. We know she will nest. We know it. He won't, but she will. Thank you, Marriage, Politics, and Sports, that speak on it. We know she don't mind the enslavement as long as it don't feel like an enslavement. She'll work with me if I give her the illusion of power, if I give her the illusion of choice, and if I give her the illusion of freedom. I give her 3 things, all fake, but she don't know that. The illusion of power, right? The illusion of choice and the illusion of freedoms. That's what made it a good idea. That is why that statement can even be made by any black man at all, that women aren't a threat. How could they not be a threat? She's the ultimate threat. Even if we just take women in general, he's saying, well, women are harmless. Let me poke holes. Let me poke a few holes in the thought pattern here. Thank you, Miss Luke Casely. Women are children. That conversation only goes so far. That is limited. Let me straighten that out. The only reason why we say, because I've said it before, women are childlike. The only reason is because sometimes that's our perspective. Women have a more selfish view how they can be benefited from things. And sometimes they have a problem with empathy. That's childlike. That is something that children are known for. Children are known for not having a lot of empathy and being very selfish and very self-centered and thinking about what they can get out of the situation or what they can't get out of the situation. That's the childlike essence of a woman. We have the capacity to do that. But that has its limit. We are, in fact, not children. We are not. Thank you, Black Adept. To hear what's on my soul out loud just blew my mind. Thank you so much. We are not children. We are not children. We can have a childlike perspective at times, but we are not children. Not to be confused with children. Because we are adults. We did reach adulthood. We understand cause, effect. We understand consequence to action. This is why we're accountable for what we do. Because we understand it. We understand. This is why I call it out. Because we do understand it. So that concept only goes so far. Thank you, H. Lewis, for the contribution box. Thank you so much. Thank you, Passport Bro. Thank you, Antonio. So simps and hyenas are the most dangerous agents in the black community. Forget the Star Wars saga. They have their own. A new simp hope. Simp strikes back. Return of the simp. Phantom simps attack of the simp and revenge of the simp. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Real Bravado. Said Kevin Samuels once said, why would I be concerned about the white man when I have to worry about the woman in next to me? She is a bigger threat to me than any white man. Exactly. And thank you so much, Real Bravado. Thank you so much, sweetheart. These are the threats. Let me go down the threats since we talking about they not threats. We didn't end up here for nothing. The black community did not end up where it is for nothing. And it frustrates the mess out of me to hear that there's no threat, because if there's no threat, what's the problem? If the women aren't threatening, if they not doing nothing, if they're not doing anything other than what's to be expected of a woman, then what the heck is the problem then? What everybody talking about? I want to know what everybody talking about. What are we talking about? What am I talking about? What is anybody talking about? Thank you, Theo. Thank you, Donovan. Said a lot of our women would leave their kids at home to go on city girl trips, and other women condone that behavior. Their actions are a direct threat. Exactly. Exactly. What are we talking about if women are not threats? If women are not threats and they don't be doing nothing, they're harmless, then what is the problem? What are black men complaining about? What they complaining about? When she off your kids, that's not threatening. When she off you, when she delete you, that's not threatening. Ask all the men that done lost their lives behind a trick. That's not threatening. All the men that have lost their children, that's not threatening either because she took them or because she deleted them. Not a threat. The woman that left her kids at the house for 2 months while she just up left and went back to where she was, and she had took them kids away from that man. That man was all the way in California, didn't know his kids was there by himself, starving. Not a threat. That was harmless actions. Oh, just poo-poo to the wrist, harmless actions. Harmless actions. Harmless, that's what get me. Harmless means that there has been no harm perpetrated. And if it ain't been no harm perpetrated by black women in the community, then what are we talking about? The manosphere might as well disperse, because y'all ain't got no complaint, correct? Just on the internet bumping your gums, right? She's been chosen to do a few things. She's been chosen to break the family. This is one of the things that we're going to go into, because I'm going to go into the Moynihan report this week. One of the biggest things that was in the Moynihan report was the breaking of the Negro family. And that being the foundation of why blacks can't move forward despite certain opportunities being open to black people. But they wasn't going to move ahead. This is 1965, the Moynihan report. Telling you, no matter how many opportunities become available, Black people are not going to be able to take advantage of them and get similar outcomes that other groups are going to get. And it's going to start because the family is broken. That's where it all starts. Because the Black family structure is not like everybody else's family structure due to the result and the consequence of chattel slavery and everything that happened after that. Not the same. First thing they did with Black women was give Black women a feminist mindset. We're starting in feminism in the 60s. Moynihan Report in the 60s, second wave feminism in the 60s. Giving Black women the feminist mindset was critical. This was a critical step. None of the other stuff that happened after would have been able to be sustained or would have ever truly happened if feminism had not been introduced in the way in which it was introduced, codified, and solidified in second wave feminism in the 60s. None of the other following things would ever have really taken place. We wouldn't be here as a community had feminism not done its job. The reason why feminism is at the root of what we see today and why it's gonna go on in perpetuity until we stop it is because feminism was the mechanism that changed values for the women specifically. It was an entire bioculturon for women. The men would be affected in a secondary way. Women would be affected directly. It changed her value system to be something very different and opposed, not just different, but a value system opposed to Black men's values. Thank you, G Money. Says Shahrazad Ali said it, and I was a victim of it. The women decides who lives or dies, and she decides on how fast or slow they do it. Yes. And thank you, Uton McIntosh. So thank you, Sister Davis, for going to teach us about the Moynihan Report this week. I want to learn what it is. I don't know what it is. We're going to go over the Moynihan Report. Thank you, Shar. I know we're supposed to be going to a break, and we will. But it worked to change the values of the women to not only be different than the men's values, but to be opposed to his value system. We succumbed overall to the lost value system. But this is white supremacy in a nutshell, though. You understand? So this is more general when we talk about this. This is not specific to the women when we talk about the lost value system. However, when we talk about feminism, that was more specific to women. The targeting of the psyche of women. Once her value system was changed, this actually sealed the fate of the Black community. The fate of the Black community was sealed on this. That's why it was so critical. That's why they pushed it so hard. So hard. Worked so hard to get Black women involved. Yeah, let's get your numbers. Let's march together. We sisters. All this foolishness. It was even a value even differ from white women. White women did not even have that value system. They never said strong, independent white women and we don't need no man. They never got to that point. It's a reason why they got to that point. Thank you again, Real Bravado. So remember about a year ago, Black Men on YouTube went over that report in its entirety. We always need a refresher. Thank you so much. The acceptance of feminism and its value system, the value system that came with feminism, sealed the fate of the Black community for generations. It sealed it. Thank you again, Shar. Said Adam was the first simp, Eve the first adulterer, and Cain the caveman the first murderer. The reason why it sealed the deal for the Black community is because she would pass down those values as a culture in perpetuity. She would do it in perpetuity. Black men would not be able to combat it. Black men would not be able to combat it properly because it is not an external enemy. It is an internal enemy that is working inside of her, not him. He wouldn't be able to see or detect it until the results come out, and by that time, it's almost too late. Thank you, Micah. Said both horse and ninjas no good to the economy in the natural state. For orderly futures, particular attention must be paid to the female and offspring. Remember Willie Lynch. Exactly. See, that's when I'm talking about. He knew from the plantation that Black women would accept something different than Black men. See, Black men would not accept anything less than his total freedom. And he would fight, and he would kill, and he would die in order to get that. They understood in chattel slavery that Black women would accept something else. See, as long as they could get her to nest, as long as this is why we still in 2023 refer to the Willie Lynch letter. People be saying the Willie Lynch letter's fake. Is it though? Are the results fake? Because whether there was a man named Willie Lynch or not, some white man explained bioculturon in it. See, it doesn't matter whether or not there was an actual person named Willie Lynch, and if he wrote the book, blah, 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 blah. The point is that biology, culture, and environment were explained. Its effect and its synergistic effect, as we term it, bioculturon, that was actually explained in detail. How it even occurs in the first place, how they were going to enact it. In this particular case, through chattel slavery. In order to maintain slavery, we have to understand where that came from. You know what? We're going to take a break. If you are in the Atlanta metropolitan area, or you have friends and family in the Atlanta metropolitan area, then I think that you will enjoy a word from our sponsor. So after these messages, we'll be right back. So I do want to take a moment to talk about gamer versus gamer. These are the good people that are sponsoring our shows now. And as you can see in a little illustration, it's got every other gamer thing in Atlanta, and then it's got them going off to the side. And that is an accurate depiction of the good folks at Gamer versus Gamer, because it's more than a game truck and all that other stuff. What Gamer versus Gamer actually is a service. It is a service that is a love letter to your child. And it's based on fatherhood values. So in our community, typically we let moms do all of the work, all of the footwork for birthday parties and planning and all of these sorts of things, only because sometimes it's get very tedious for men to do, and a lot of times men don't have time. However, Gamer versus Gamer does everything that you need. So if you're a dad and you want to be super involved with your child's next birthday party and you really want to go all out for them, you don't have to take up all of your time. The only time that you're going to have to take up is the time to call or click on the link at the top of the chat, gamerversusgamer.com, so that you can speak to them and get an idea of what you want for your child's birthday. And they literally take care of the rest. And the other thing about them that is so awesome is that even though you're taking this time out to just give them a call, everything is so intricately done, and every detail is paid attention to. Everything that you're asking them to do in terms of the theme, in terms of the type of things that you want to be presented to your child at their next birthday, to just to give them that wonderful memory. They really do take care of you from start to finish. It is an elite service. So therefore, when we think about our children and we think about, a birthday party for a child shouldn't cost over a certain dollar amount, that's actually where Gamer versus Gamers truly stands out from the rest, because that dollar amount that you spend is actually not looked at as a burden, but as an investment in your child and in the love of your child, and showing your child this love that you have for them, because that memory is going to be worth so much more than any dollar amount that you could spend with them and on them. So I urge you guys, once again, if you are in the Atlanta metropolitan area, or you have friends or family there with children with a birthday coming up, this is the time. You want to go ahead and click the link at the top of the chat, gamerversusgamer.com. Speak to them, get a whole entire birthday arranged, and you don't have to worry about anything, not even cleaning up, not even paper plates. Like, you don't have to worry about none of it. They come, they host the party, everybody has a wonderful time, gifts are given, all of this other stuff is done, their friends get to come, and then they literally clean up everything, pack up everything, and they're gone. And you and your child are left with a memory and a good time. Okay. So, let's get back to this. And I think I missed somebody's super chat. Hold on. Thank you, Mr. Boren. Thank you so much. We were talking about feminism. And we were talking also about the Willie Lynch letter. Doesn't matter that whether there was an actual person named Willie Lynch. We get caught up on stuff. Black people, My people perish for lack of knowledge. If the result of the Willie Lynch letter is true, what do it matter what's the name of the individual or individuals that came up with it? What does it matter if the result is true? If we live the result, then what we not taken out of it, what we supposed to have taken out of it, what we were supposed to have taken out of that was understanding of biology, culture, and environment. That is what we were supposed to take out of that. We were supposed to extract, they spelled it out in boxcar letters. I don't know why we still caught up in 2023 not understanding where our problem come from. And furthermore, not understanding how to get out of it. I don't even get it. Because it was explained to us step by literally, there's a pamphlet that explains the biology, how to get that under control, how to produce a culture out of it, and then how to produce it in the environment, and how to replicate it over and over and over again. It would last for hundreds of years because people would not understand the biology, culture, and environment. And then they wouldn't understand biocultural. And it's in a pamphlet. And why don't we get it? Thank you, Black Adepts. The program is so strong, you can show them the letter and it has absolutely no effect. And it's so ironic that our money is made out of cotton. Thank you, Just Two said Crimson Cure change to reverse feminism will happen. Don't be surprised if nations join a new world order of BRICSS will forbid feminism in schools and beyond while arresting violators. I don't understand why we don't get it. We spin our wheels for no reason. Listen, it's the Willie Lynch letter. Sister Shahrazad Ali came out. Sister Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. Oh. Dr. Claude Anderson. Even brothers like Brother Dick Gregory. Try to tell us over and over and over and over what the issue is. Why are we in this place? Why are we here? What got us here? And we don't like it. We don't want to listen to it. So many, I only named 2 or 3. So many of our scholars, the John Henry Clarks, so many of our scholars was telling us way back in the day. They was telling us in the 60s, Brother Khalid Muhammad. They was telling us in the 80s. They was telling us in the 90s. They was telling us in the 70s. I brought to y'all attention that clip. Them brothers was talking to them sisters in the 70s, 60s and 70s about don't take the bait and destroy us behind it. She will pass it down from generation to generation. Zaddy created an enemy that black men could not detect, that he could not see until the results began to show themselves in his family, in his community, in his environment, in his home. take a few decades to see it, few generations, and by then the destruction will have been so great as to nearly be insurmountable. What's the second kind of threat? Because I can go on and on about feminism being the undergirding of the threat. She's a person-to-person threat. Black women are one-on-one threats to black men. It has been due to the slow breeding of contempt and hatred in the hearts of black women towards black men since the plantation. It's been going on prior to feminism, but once feminism came along in that iteration, that second wave was the wave. That iteration of feminism, that contempt that black women have for black men became more profound. They got a new voice for it. They got the ability to say it out loud, and black men could not offer them consequence for it. And it went from a practical betrayal to a personal one. Did you hear what I just said? It went from a practical betrayal to a personal one. Do you understand what I mean by that? Let me break that down. It was a practical betrayal. Black women will tell you about the practical betrayal. Black women will tell you about the practical betrayal. We had to betray you off practicality. It was simply a matter of survival. Nothing more. We took the welfare, we took the programs, we took the entitlement, we took all these things, we took all of this stuff, but it wasn't personal. We was doing it to survive. That's all it was. We was just doing it because we didn't feel like we had any other choice as a group of women. And so we betrayed you, but it wasn't personal to you. We wasn't trying to betray you off of some hatred. We were just doing what we quote unquote thought we had to do in order to make it. Black women will tell you about that. They'll tell you about that. Thank you, Sister Zahira. Says salams, beloved sis. Why like my salams? I love your book. Been broke, so I had to show some love. Still need to talk. Okay, sweetheart. And thank you. They'll tell you that part. But what they won't tell you is the part that it was personal. We didn't mind the practical betrayal because we personally betray you anyway. We actually don't like you. That's the part they don't say. See, been bed winching so long that we actually like Zaddy. Black women have been the real house Negroes, whether they was in the field or not. Got so much love for Zaddy that we ain't never really liked you no way. So when Zaddy come to give us some bed winching biscuits, we were ready to take them. When he portrayed black men a certain way in mass media, in the newspaper, on the telephone, on the television, when he portrayed black men a certain way, see, we believe that. That's that bedwenching spirit. You understand? That's that bedwenching spirit. Thank you, Uton. Said, Sister Davis, from your perspective, why do you think black women had contempt for black men in the plantation field before feminism when we were in slavery together? Because you wasn't supposed to have them in slavery. We go back to the Willie Lynch letter. He was able to break black men in front of her. So that automatically made you weak. And in general, a woman gonna have contempt for a weak man. One that can't offer her consequences or anything. So she perceive it in her mind. She perceive that white men are men and black men are not. That was on the plantation. She perceived that white men are men and black men are not. But she's stuck with black men because she'll never be Mrs. Cartwright. You understand? So the contempt is a projection. It don't really have a whole lot to do with the men at all. It really have more to do with her being stuck in a particular position that she can't get out of. She'll never be a white woman. And she know that. She hope against hope that Zaddy will accept her anyway, but he not. She thought that working against black men to destroy the black community would give her cookie points with Zaddy, and Zaddy would accept her after that work is done, and he won't. He won't. And the only men that she could even slightly turn to, the one that she stuck with, is black men. Thus, contempt. Don't like you. Because she'll never be Mrs. Cartwright, and you will never be Mr. Cartwright. You'll never be William Cartwright. Did that make sense? It's convoluted, but do that make sense? I hope I answered that question. Thank you, Gary. It says, look, Kendra's femininity looks good on you, sis. May the Most High continue to bless you in the wilderness, striving for hope. Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you to Brother Terenzo. Said the Lynch letter has resulted in our people being poisoned psychologically by our own hand without white supremacy moving a muscle to think. Y'all go ahead and meditate on that and don't take too long. It's a war going on outside. Thank you. Thank you, Amir. Said Roots, Kissy, Lioness, Phantom Bell, Hyenas. Yeah. So she's stuck wanting something that she ain't ever gonna get, ever. So now it's personal to you. I'll just rip you apart now just because. And Zaddy done gave me weapons to rip you apart with? Sure. Why not? Why not? Like I said, she tell you about the part about quote unquote survival and how she had to do it and all this kind of stuff. They like telling that story. Let me cook for a little bit. They like telling that story about how black women had to do everything. And black men, you know, black women just took the lead on. You took the lead on what? You took the lead on doing what exactly? Show me the successful black community that was female led. It's been many decades since feminism in the 50s and your opportunities and this and that. Tell me, where has the successful black community, which has been female led, where is that? Where is that? You show me in what place in the United States, in what sector have black people in general succeeded in as a result of the hard work that black women have done. And don't tell me about that stupid enrollment rate into them indoctrination centers. I don't want to hear that. I'm talking about the overall good that happened to black people as a result of black female leadership. I want to know. Thank you, Dusty. Said thanks for stopping by Uncle D's channel. Oh, no problem. I liked me some Brother Dennis. Brother Dennis is cool. He good people. Thank you, D. Said women don't like weak, non-solution based men. Their penalties are giving child support, family court, false charges, keeping kids from you, etc. Thank you, William Bell. Where black women have built, where you build, we had to do it all. Do all of what? Do all of what? I just want to know. Did we get more money as a people? Did we become more educated as a people? Did we become better to maneuver in this world? Did we get better mobility? Did we get better spiritually? Did we get better health-wise? What did we do? I even beg to differ with that, Brother Undani. So they only build for self and only self. Nope, not even that. They didn't even do that. Because they broke. And fat. And without a spiritual bone in their bodies. And with broken families. And bad appearance values. And horrible dwellings. They didn't even do that. They didn't even do that. Thank you, Dedicated. So I'm starting to think an ultimate collaboration will be between Mumia, Obsidian, and Crimson Kid. Thank you, sister. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shelton. Said keep cooking these hyenas so I can keep taking out the trash for you. Thank you again, Dusty. Said built the beauty supply industry. That wasn't for them. Damn, black women don't benefit out of that. Opening up them little lash boutiques a million years after you done put 5 generations of Koreans through college don't count. Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm going to say this one last thing. The betrayal that black women perpetrated on the black community followed the exact same trajectory that racism, white supremacy followed in this country. Here's what I mean. At first, it was about the practicality of slave labor, of free labor. That was what it was about. The transatlantic slave trade was about the practicality of free labor, being able to get people at low cost to come to your country, to build it on the backs of your those people without having to pay those people and without having to really deal with them people as part of the society. It was practical. It was business. It was not personal. It was not personal. You know when it became personal? You know when it started becoming racism rather than just slavery? Because other slavery in other parts of the world didn't necessarily come with racism. It was about labor. Listen, you were a lower caste. We get it. That's what we want. It became personal once this country realized they were stuck with the population that they had assumed to be slaves. When they were stuck with us, that's when it became hatred. And then a whole entire system built based on that personal vendetta and hatred. You're just not included. We can't include you. We can't include you because you were never to be included. As a matter of fact, that the slavery didn't have an expiration date on it. That's number one. You were never not supposed to be slaves. And then they couldn't get rid of it. They couldn't do it. They tried. Couldn't do it. For several reasons. Realized that as a country, they actually would collapse without us. Whether we were in chattel slavery or not, we were such an integral part of everything that this system was built upon. It was like we hate y'all. We really hate y'all. We really hate y'all. We stuck with y'all, but we hate y'all. And since we stuck with you and we hate you, we're going to let you know we hate you. We going to make life so hard for you over here while getting every benefit out of you that we could possibly get. We going to make it such a living, we just going to make this monstrous for you. Because we hate you. And we hate you because we stuck with you. And we stuck with you because as much as we would like for you to just go away, you going away would collapse us. So we done messed up. So we codify. We'll create an entire system that is based on that whole ideology. That's why we call it institutional white supremacy and racism. That's why because they codified it. It's institutionalized. You put it in every institution that they have. So black women don't like black men. It evolved because she's stuck with you now. I don't want to be over here with you. She's stuck with you, so I hate you. And I'll do anything to you now. I'll do anything to you. I'll put you in a line of fire anywhere. I'll disrespect you. I'll talk crazy to you. All that. Because I don't like you. Because I'm stuck with you. Thank you, Micah. So I think the truth created the baby mama pathology. I don't want him, but no one else can have him either. what you think. Could be. Many of these things are related. They tried to think of a way for the system to stand without us, and they can't do it. I just had to get that off. I just had to say those things. Harmless. Women are harmless. In what land? Thank you, Shar. So the reason why they couldn't get rid of us is because the Most High promised that he would not utterly destroy the house of Israel. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mogul. Thank you so much. Anyway, before we sign off, I want to draw everybody's attention to this.
Hello, my Crimsonites and all of my supporters. I invite you to go and get your copy of my new book, Reclaiming the Black Feminine, The Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery, on sale now at crimsoncure.com. This is guaranteed to change your perspective and positively impact your life. So go ahead now to crimsoncure.com and get your copy today.
So what you want to do is you want to get your copy of Reclaiming the Black Feminine, The Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery, which is on sale now. The link is in the description box. At crimsoncure.com, you can get your copy. If you would like to have a digital copy, that link is also in the description box. Okay. To Amazon, so you could get a digital copy of the book as well. Thank you so much, Gettys. You could get a digital copy of the book. I want to thank everyone for their contributions. I really appreciate. Oh, excuse me. I really appreciate everybody's contributions, whether that comes through super chats, whether that comes through PayPals or Cash Apps or anything. Thank you, DDEC. So they are completely irrational from nature. Well, women are not completely irrational from. Is that what you mean? Whether women are irrational by nature? No. We emotional by nature, but we're not irrational. Women only get irrational when we don't want to temper it with our logic and reason, and we don't want somebody else to temper it with their logic and reason. That's when it becomes irrational. But let's see how many people. Okay. I just like to shout out. Thank you, Raymond, for the Cash App contribution. Thank you so much for that. I'm caught up on that. DDEC said I was referring to black women. No, not irrational. We emotional. I mean, we emotionally driven creatures, but we're not irrational. Certainly not by nature. We're not. I mean, you can get a woman to be irrational, but that's not a natural state. natural state is just to be emotionally driven. But if you want to talk about women's female nature and things of that nature in more depth, you go to my Patreon. The Patreon is where I have those talks, actually. So if you want to, one of my mods, please put my Patreon link in there. The $5 tier is just for monetary support, but the $20 tier is where you get content. So I've dropped content at this time once a week. Every Sunday I drop new content on the Patreon. That's content that you do not find on this channel. It goes more in depth in relationships, female nature, and more balanced with male leadership. That is for the lionesses and the lions over there. We don't necessarily talk so much about the problem as we talk about the solutions and the rubber hitting the road and things that lionesses need to know. So that Patreon is just a wealth of information that we're building there. So that $20 tier, that's where you want to do, because that's where you're getting all of the new content and information there. So with that being said, I want to thank everyone for coming through. Thank everyone for their contributions. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.